Good morning. Happy Tuesday. It is April 8th. I want to start off by saying I am going to be updating my prices today. I have dramatically cut back on how I spend money in my personal life so that I can take less for readings. The world is getting weird, and I think a lot more people are going to need a lot of guidance, and I want to make sure that there's better access to that. I mean, right now my prices are pretty on par with everybody else, but I just think that it needs to be a little more accessible to folks with everything going on in the world. So that being said, I should have that updated today. If you follow me on TikTok or Instagram, you can send me a message over there to schedule a reading, or you can send me an email, which my email address is listed here as well. It seems my website is not working right now, so I'm going to be doing everything through email or DMs moving forward, and doing just payment through Cashapp or Venmo. So keep an eye out for that. I'll probably post like a reel or something today that has the new prices listed. So today the moon is in Virgo, and Virgo generally is a time when you can get things done. However, it's being ruled by that Mercury in Pisces, so things are murky, the waters are muddy, things are not very clear. We're having to lean on our intuition today. Also, the only aspects that it's making today are inconjuncts to Neptune as of right now. As I'm making this, it's in an inconjunct to Neptune, and also it will make an inconjunct to Pluto. So this is like a subconscious crossroads type of energy going on here. This is the subconscious and emotional state being in alignment with that detail-oriented Virgo, but being guided by kind of murky Mercury right now. That was hard to say. We're really having to lean on our intuition. We're having to kind of make some subconscious shifts when it comes to how we're moving forward, based on like the divine guidance of Neptune and Aries that is telling you how to act, basically, when it comes to your intuition and your faith and things of that nature. It's really a divine guidance on how to move, how to show up in the world, how to be an individual in your faith and in your intuition. And also that inconjunct to Pluto is making a shift based on the collective destruction that we're seeing happen, the destruction of society, basically. So you might just kind of be watching the world around you, and your subconscious is like, I don't like this, I need to make some changes. And it's just a little shift in how you're viewing things and how you're moving. Now, Venus retrograde is still in a conjunction with Saturn in Pisces, and it is still in that sextile to Uranus in Taurus. So this big shakeup that we're having when it comes to safety, security, finances, survivability, all of that is giving us this opportunity to really kind of stand 10 toes down on finances ourselves, right? As individuals, we're really reviewing with Venus being retrograde and sitting really still, getting ready to station direct. We're really kind of rethinking how we're going to move forward when it comes to finances and stability. And this is a good time, with it being in Pisces, to lean on that intuition to make those decisions. Like I said, it's a good time to stop playing the capitalist games, right? It's only spending money where you have to. You're only buying food and paying your utilities, basically, type of thing. But this opportunity, when it's in those passive signs, those receptive signs, like earth and water, this is where you have to create that opportunity. So it is something that you have to do yourself, and it's just a good time to lean on that intuition to do that. We are in a building up crescendo phase to the full moon this weekend. This is going to be a spicy full moon. It's ruled by Venus, and Venus stations direct on that same day. So this is all about your relationships with other people, your finances, making sure that you're listening to your intuition to guide you at this point. We're just in a slow moving type of energy right now, but it's building up to something big. So we're just slowing down and paying attention, kind of looking at the whole picture type of energy here. So let's pull you guys some cards for the day. The energy of the day. Oh, Page of Swords. So that's that information. It's a curiosity, really. Like really paying attention to all the little information that's coming out everywhere. Pages are both messengers and students. Okay, so it's about listening to the messages that are coming out. It's about actually taking that in and learning something from it as well. So there is this energy of like, there's a lot of stuff being said. You know, Jupiter and Gemini has been doing us dirty since last June. So we're still in that space where it's just information overload, right? Make sure that you're slowing down and you're listening to that information. Of course, Venus, or the moon, goodness, the moon in Virgo is all about information and like the details of that information. So make sure that you're listening closely, you're looking at the whole picture, and you're taking in what's being heard and not like blocking it out because you don't like it. Let's see what to focus on. Oops, goodness, they're trying to jump out and then they change their mind. That Two of Wands. What is it for you? What do you need to move forward on yourself? What decisions do you need to make? Twos are a decision-making time. It's about that kind of crossroads type of energy where you've got to decide what lights you up, what gets you going, what do you need to move forward for yourself. What the destruction in the world around us is going to happen no matter what. And we've got to make sure that we as individuals are in good spaces to be able to move forward. We need to find who we are as individuals to be able to kind of navigate the insanity that we're seeing in the world around us right now. So my oldest doggy has some doggy dementia and he paces a lot. That's why I pause a lot when I'm doing these, because he can't lay down for very long. What to avoid? What does the collective need to avoid today? Strength. You don't always have to be strong, right? Sometimes it is okay to kind of let that guard down, feel the emotions. That's really how we make change. That's how we decide how we're going to move forward, is by letting that guard down and not like digging our heels in the sand. It's just a time to take in the information, decide what you're going to do with it, and stop trying to be large and in charge, right? It's really, sometimes we have to let go, and understand the universe is in charge right now, and all we can do is navigate our own lives personally. We can't fight against what's going to happen out in the world. All we can do is figure out how we can fit into it and navigate ourselves through it. Bottom of the deck is the High Priestess. So there is this listening to that intuition, allowing yourself to be divinely guided. That is kind of the underlying energy of this here. And again, sometimes you got to give up on the thing that you thought it was going to be, because it's just not happening the way that you wanted it to. You can only control yourself. You can't control the circumstances around you. Let's see, clarifiers for our Page of Swords here. Oh, we have a Three of Cups and the Seven of Cups. I like that, actually. So Three of Cups is like, hanging out with your buddies, having a good time, having good conversations, right? But the Seven of Cups is that confusion, and like there's a lot of stuff there. Again, information overload to the point where we don't really understand what's going on. Also, Mercury in Pisces kind of leaving us in this like foggy type of energy. So there is an energy here of a lot of information coming out, but not knowing what to do with it. You're talking to people, you're trying to understand things, and like nothing's coming of it type of energy here. So there is this confusion, but you're trying to make sense of the confusion, basically. Clarifiers for our Two of Wands here. Oh, we have Justice and the Page of Cups. Okay. Venus is conjunct Saturn, right? This is restriction on relationships and money and values and things of that nature, but it's also about boundaries when it comes to those things as well. Sometimes you have to make that decision for yourself, the thing that lights you up, that makes you keep going, that gives you that life to continue to go, right? Even if other people don't like it, okay? And it's almost like what I've been getting a lot of lately is, if you're you've been working on those boundaries, you've been holding those boundaries, and a lot of people don't like it when you suddenly have boundaries, right? So they fight against it. But we're getting to this point where people are realizing that you're not going to let those boundaries go, and they're starting to kind of shift a little bit, right? So you might see that kind of happen today, or you might really be looking for that, where things are starting to balance out and people are starting to be a little kinder. They're not pushing back against you quite so much, because they've realized that you're going to stand your ground and you're going to get to where you need to be for yourself, right? And it gives you this freedom to be able to move forward once people start to realize that and they stop pushing back against those boundaries. And that's really important in this Venus retrograde energy that we've been in, is because it's ending with a conjunction to Saturn. It's like you're getting in this space where all of that fighting back against your boundaries is finally starting to take a shift. And we're probably going to see that shift really take form this weekend with the full moon and Venus stationing direct. So if you've had some really good boundaries and you've been fighting against other people for it, you really might be seeing things kind of lighten up a little bit to where you can move forward for yourself. And other people are finally going, oh, I guess I can't push back on her anymore. I guess I can't tell them what to do anymore, you know. So things are starting to balance out a little bit in that realm, and it's giving you that courage and that ability to actually make some decisions for yourself. Clarifiers for the Strength card. Why are we avoiding Strength today? Maybe. Why does it always like take its time on the Strength one? I don't understand. We've got a 4 of Wands and a Queen of Cups. Okay, so we're avoiding having those. We're avoiding being stubborn, basically, is what I'm getting here. Yeah, you got to have your boundaries and all, but you don't have to be stubborn about it. You don't have to intentionally go against what somebody else is saying just because you feel like you don't want somebody to tell you what to do, right? Kind of letting that guard down and allowing people in a little more kind of gives you this space of, one, more empathy, more compassion, and happiness and celebration, right? So again, you don't need to be a hard ass to have good boundaries. You don't need to, sometimes we can be so stubborn and so insistent on our boundaries. I am a horrible example of this, that we will destroy ourselves just for the sake of feeling like we're in control of something. Again, we are not in control of the situations. We are only in control of ourselves in those situations. And right now, when you're trying to maintain a sense of normalcy in an environment that has zero normalcy going on, that will kind of backfire on you. So it might be time to kind of back off a little bit on this whole standing strong thing. Have your boundaries, make sure that you're protecting yourself, but also be a little more willing to go with the flow and allow yourself to be a little more divinely guided. And then we have 2 of Swords on the bottom here as well. So this is that crossroadsy energy that we're getting with that moon making the inconjuncts throughout the day. So there's these subconscious shifts that are sending you in a different direction. There is these opportunities to do things for yourself and really change the way that you're standing out in the world, change the way that you're moving in this world. And a lot of it is based on what's going on out in the world. It's really a good time to make sure that you're focusing on what you're going to do within all of this mess that's happening. But again, making sure that you're not so stubborn about it that you're shutting down everyone else as well.